Okay, that brings us to Quiet Houses and the song What My Heart Is For. This is Edinburgh, Scotland band that you've heard before, so I took a different approach than Grant said at the top, where he intentionally avoided some of the bands we've heard before. And this one just, for me, was undeniably a top song of the year. And so, and really has been from the beginning. It was released in January, and it's something I've been listening to all year long. This band is just, I think, undeniably good. They're crafting incredible songs, and the delivery of it all in terms of the music and the lyrics and the vocals, it just all comes together so well. I'm impressed and drawn in by what they do. It's got nearly 100,000 plays, and it's from the single of the same name. They've been just releasing singles throughout the year, a couple here, a couple there, or maybe one here and one there, I guess is what I mean. I think at the end of the day, I'm just a sucker for sparkling and shimmering dream pop. And that's where they fit. It feels good when I listen to the song. And there's an honesty in the lyrics that I also feel drawn to. Maybe it's a youthful love, and maybe not really knowing what you want, but you know that you want to feel a certain way. And the way she says, I'm reaching out for something, is it getting closer? And so you just don't really know, but you have a yearning in your life for a thing. It's one of those songs that just brings me to that feel good feeling. And I think being the parent of teenagers, oftentimes I think back to what was I thinking when I was these ages, and how did I feel? Where was my head? And I find myself drawn to those songs partly because I think when I was a teenager, I don't know that I understood my emotions. They were often seashells that I left on the seafloor. And and then when I hear songs that try to tap into those, it feels like it's a familiarity for me to try to relate to the young adults that are in my house and kind of remind myself of what they're thinking or what they might be going through and how it can feel a little uncertain and in those types of things. And I think that's one of the reasons I was drawn to this song, is that it feels like the early stages of maybe falling in love or wanting to fall in love or not knowing what it feels like to fall in love. And a lot of that curious questioning feels very right for me in 2024 in terms of where the young adults in my house are. So that's part of why it's here. But aside from that, I think the song is it's just a gorgeous song. It's well crafted, and it's from a band that I think will keep making some noise, even though they're called Quiet Houses. So Grant, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm glad that they came back, 'cause I think it was an EP that you had in the previous Best of 23. So it's cool to see them obviously continuing to produce great music, and not surprised. I loved the intro into the noodly guitar that kind of just like all the way throughout. I thought that was really artful. And again, I needed the energy that this song brought right after Sprinter Brain to keep it going a little bit more. And I like it quite a bit. I very much resonate with the lyrics too, of just that young adult feeling. It does feel like a conversation with somebody about catching up, as they're mentioning. I love, and we've talked about lyrical rhythms before, but I'm terrified by design. I just love those kind of 4 words as a song lyric, and how much I'm terrified, but it's who I am, and by design. And am I accepting that? Do I push against that? But I'm reaching for something. I don't know. Thought that was very right out of college feel, or right out of high school kind of feel. And it's scary, but also interesting to look back on where those feelings are as a 46-year-old now versus where it was when I was 22, 23, and leaving college and going into the world and not really knowing what it has in store. Ironically, last night got to go get a drink with a buddy that's in town he lives in Taiwan, but we met playing Frisbee here in the Twin Cities. And he was at CU Boulder playing for Mama Bird a few years after I was in Colorado Springs. And so we played on a league team here and just became fast buddies, stayed in touch. And every time he visits the Twin Cities to see his family, we catch up and have a drink. And felt a lot like the message here of, man, I haven't seen you for a few years. Tell me about your life. Tell me about what you've been doing. And he lives in Taiwan, and he travels the world, and he loves it. But there's like a lot of scary things in the world, and missiles getting shot over Taiwan that he's, yeah, we heard about that on the news. And I'm like, man, this is weird to be thinking about it from your perspective and seeing it, but having this catch up moment in a few hours talking to somebody about all these weird things that you're going through in life. And this song kind of captured it in a way that pulling the storyline from there. But Quiet Houses, I agree, solid songwriting, very poppy, very energetic. And I think it's a well-placed song. I love hearing that this has been a song since January, February, an album that you just kept spinning. So definitely a song of 2024, album of 24 that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I think that what stands out for me the most is your enjoyment of it, Sean, and love that you weren't shy to bring a band back. Like we all talk about how much music we have to sift through and how difficult it can be at times. And obviously for them to get 2 years in a row in your top 5, that's pretty cool. So love that. Watching the music video, I love watching it in the context of the lyrics, and then also next to Sprinter Brain. It almost is, this is where we came from. Like Sprinter Brain is after the breakup or after what went wrong, but then What My Heart Is For is, it looks like we're looking at that couple previously on a trip. There's even a moment where there's seashells in there, and I just think that's really interesting and cute and fun. They look like they're having a lot of fun in making the video, and that's, I think, the sparkle that you're naming. Plus, there's this awesome moment of the skateboard, and it actually bookends the whole story where she flips the skateboard up and you see a unicorn sticker, and then it says "Carried Away" on the board. And I think that there's somewhat of a message of what my heart is for is to get swept up in passion and love and desire and all the messy parts of being connected to another human being, whether that's romantic or brotherly or familia or some activity that I love or some place that I love. That is the nature of what our heart is for, is to get swept away, is to get completely carried away. Tracking back to Easy Tiger, I do think that it's what we get all dressed up for, and it's what we get all messed up for, is to get carried away.
Yeah, nice connection. Yeah, nice connection there. I'll just make this last comment. Heard the song on its release date thanks to Spotify. Spotify says, hey, a band you like just released something. So I listened to it and I decided this might be a good time to start my best of 2024 playlist, because this song, this is really good. And then if you drop something on in January, you expect it to be displaced by other songs as you go. And what I found was lots of other songs came in, and my consideration playlist for 2024 might have been 50 songs long. But what I found is that I kept coming back to this song, and at the end of the day, I thought this really is a top 5 song, and so I'm going to keep it there. So we'll give you a chance to give it a spin. This is What My Heart Is For.